Hello and welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Hope you are all doing well. I want to thank the viewer that requested I do Reddit stories. So today I have 4 for you all, and the first one is called Bedtime Shuffles. I was staying at my partner's house, who had not long come out of an abusive relationship. She was moving out of the house and a few boxes were in the bedroom where we were asleep. She had a 6-year-old who was in the house with us sleeping in his room. I woke up during the dark early hours of the morning and heard him shuffling about at the bottom of the bed. I kept my head slightly under the covers and my eyes shut, as to be honest I didn't want to have to deal with a 6-year-old and was hoping he'd wake his mom up. After 3 or 4 minutes I started to think that this wasn't him, as he hadn't tried to wake either of us up, just moving around at the bottom of the bed. Then I panicked, the ex. I started to worry for us all at this point. Then I heard the footsteps I'd been listening to suddenly stomp and rush up the side of the bed on my partner's side. That was enough for me. I screamed as I flicked the bedside light on, expecting a confrontation. However, there was no one there in the lit room, no son, no ex. In the next few seconds, both myself and my now awake girlfriend then heard footsteps, almost running, go back down her side towards the bottom of the bed and across the room. To top off the experience, the boxes where the footsteps sound ended suddenly tilted and rocked as if somebody had run straight into them. I have no explanation for what happened, and my girlfriend had never experienced anything in the house before. I don't care what the police said, running still felt right. This happened to me a long time ago, when I was 10 years old. I wear glasses because of an accident at school. It left me nearly blind in one eye, and I had to wear an eye patch for months after. Relevant, I promise. I was still off school about a week after the accident and really bored, so decided to head down to the library. I lived in a small town, and I knew most people and always felt safe, until this day. I was about a street away from the library, and a red car I didn't recognize drove past. The road was small enough that we didn't even have pavements, so he passed by quite close. I didn't pay much attention until it suddenly appeared behind me again. I remember not being overly worried, thinking he'd just ask for directions, but he wound down his window, didn't say anything, and started staring at me, super uncomfortable. So I started walking, and he started crawling along beside me. I sped up, he sped up. I started to run, so he screeched forwards, pulled in front of me, and opened his car door. That was enough for me to nope the hell out of there. Luckily, there was a park I could run into where he couldn't follow. I ran home faster than I ever had before to tell my mom and call the police. I managed to describe the car and the driver well enough that they quickly found him just down the road. When questioned, the man said he was just worried about my eye and wanted to check on me. Still gives me shivers. Follow the leader. If a young boy named Nathan approaches your kid in the playground and asks them to play follow the leader with him, stop them before they say yes, and take them home immediately. He looks to be around 7 or 8 years of age. His shoulder-length black hair, wears all red, and has a weird accent. An accent I've never heard before anyway. This day last year, I took my 5-year-old daughter Alice to the playground since it was a nice day and she was begging me to go all week. She loved playing on the swings and slides. While she was playing on the swings, Nathan approached Alice and asked her to play with him. Alice was never shy and always played with other kids at the playground, so she agreed to play with him. "What do you want to play?" she asked. Follow the leader maybe? "Okay, I'm Alice, by the way." "Nice to meet you, I'm Nathan." "That's a nice name." "Thank you. Have you ever played follow the leader before?" "No." "Well, all you have to do is follow wherever I go." "Okay." The game started out fairly innocently. The two walked in a single file around the park, Nathan in front, Alice following behind. Then Nathan started leading Alice towards the road. This is when my parenting instincts kicked in. "Alice, don't go any further." She kept following. "Alice, stop." She wasn't showing any signs of stopping, so I ran as fast as I could to stop her. But as I grabbed the sleeve of her top to stop her. I was pulled along with her. As I mentioned before, Alice was only 5, and there was no possible way she would have been strong enough to pull me along with her when I tried to stop her. I then tried standing in front of Nathan and told him to stop, but he pushed me to the side and continued walking towards the road. I tried wrapping my arms around Alice to stop her, but I was still being pulled along with her. I even tried pushing her away, but she didn't budge. Or I tried telling her to stop. I tried telling her we'd go for ice cream. I even tried telling her I'd get her the phone she's been asking for the past 6 months, but she didn't even turn her head to look at me. It was like she was under some sort of spell. Nathan led Alice into oncoming traffic and then just disappeared. My wife, who was at work at the time, blamed me for not watching her closely enough, and when I tried to tell her the truth, she thought I was just making up a story to cover for my poor parenting. Not long after Alice's funeral, my wife divorced me, and her family and even my own family still blame me for her death. The only person who still talks to me from my family is my older sister, who actually believes me because she heard of something similar that happened to a relative of a co-worker of hers a few years ago. I visit that playground almost every day in hopes I'll see Nathan to confront him. I'm not a violent person, but Nathan is not the child he tricks people into believing he is. I don't know what he is, but if I ever see him, I will make sure he pays for what he did to Alice. Van followed me and my friends home. So this happened around a month ago. I live in Mississippi. Nothing interesting ever happens. I live a normal life, I guess, but I'm only 16. So me and my friends were walking to the store really late at night, around 2 to 4 a.m., and on our walk back, we saw this white van, and the driver's door was red and slightly rusted. There was also writing all over the van, but it was tiny and we couldn't read it, and a lot of the windows were broken and covered with duct tape. When we saw it the first time, we all kind of laughed because of the stereotype that white vans kidnap people. So we laughed it off and didn't think much of it. Around 10 minutes later, we saw it driving the opposite direction towards us. We were all kind of creeped out, but still didn't worry too much. Then the final time we saw it, same night, it was pulling out of this neighborhood road, and it was behind us. But we saw the headlights, so we got out of the road. We turned around and saw it was the van driving really slow, 5 or 10 miles per hour. I had a pocket knife on me, so I pulled it out. One of my friends had a fake gun with an orange tip, but we had it in case we felt threatened. It wouldn't really do much if something happened. We quickly ran into the woods. I tripped and fell, scraped my knee because we couldn't see shit as it was pitch dark. We saw a van speed up after a few seconds. After the encounter, we got out of the woods, started running. Then we got back. We stayed up the rest of the night. We were all creeped out, and each time I go down that road again, I start looking around for it so I can get a license plate number. This happened on Porter's Chapel Road in Vicksburg. I've been trying to find reports of the van, but I have found nothing. I reported it to police for suspicious activity, but that's all I can really do. I know it doesn't seem that serious, but it really did creep us the fuck out. And since it was a 3-mile walk to the store and back, we were like 2 miles away from his house. Let me know in comments if you would like more Reddit stories. I will link the OP stories in the description box. Thank you for listening. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing and liking my channel, and I will see you on the next one.